Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Alicia. Today I'm going to be doing a type 1 diabetes Q&A. I've been talking about doing this video for a little while now. I put up a community post a couple months back asking for questions that you guys had on type 1 diabetes for me to answer. I thought it would be an interesting video considering that I do get so many questions asked about my condition and about my illness. For anyone that's new here, hi, I'm Alicia. I'm a type 1 diabetic. I was diagnosed in 2021 when I was 14 years old. I am now 18 years old, so I've been living with type 1 diabetes for 3 and a bit years now. I went through my final years of high school being a newly diagnosed type 1 diabetic, which was an experience. But it's something that I've always kind of spoken about on my YouTube channel, and I get a lot of questions asked about it because people are curious. And I love that people are curious because it means that you're willing to be compassionate and understand more about others. So I have noted down a few of the most commonly asked questions on that post. Let's just get into it. So the first question I have is, I've got type 1, but I always find it hard to work out how much insulin to have. So how do you do it? Anyone who's watching this who is also a type 1 diabetic, if you don't know, there's this app called My Life, which looks like this. It's awesome. My type 1 educator introduced me to it. So basically, it's an amazing app. It's a carb to insulin calculator. So you put in your insulin to carb ratio, and if you're unsure about what yours is, you can always talk to your diabetes educator about it and they'll help you out. So I put all my information in, my goal blood sugar range, which is like 6, and then how much insulin I usually take per gram of carb. And then it brings me to this little page here. And I can put in my current blood glucose, which I'm a bit high right now, so it's 9.2. So I can put in my current glucose and then say I was eating 2 slices of toast, which is around 30 grams of carbs. And you just put in your blood sugar, the carbs you're eating, press calculate, and it tells you how much insulin to take. So it says 9.7. Of course, you can't give 0.7 on a pen. So I usually round it up to about 10 units, and then that's how much insulin I take, and it like logs it in this app. It's great. Definitely recommend it for people who have trouble calculating their insulin. Next question, how old were you when you were diagnosed and what symptoms were you having before? So I was 14 when I was diagnosed. I was having all the like common symptoms, the excessive thirst, needing to go to the bathroom constantly. I was tired all of the time and I was losing weight rapidly. I was still eating pretty normally, but I was just shedding weight like no tomorrow. I think I lost like 10 kilos in a week, which is really scary and really dangerous. But for me, looking back and remembering it, the symptom that I remember most is just the thirst. Like being so thirsty, and no matter what I did, nothing could quench it. I was drinking upwards of 10 liters of water a day, and people are like, you would have drowned, you would have, no, I was literally dying. Like, that's the point. Like, I know it sounds crazy, but I was literally dying. Yeah, I just remember being so thirsty. I would try drinking smoothies, Hydrolyte, which is like an electrolytes drink. I tried drinking everything and just nothing could quench that thirst. It was awful. Awful. Next question. If you had a phobia of needles, how did you get used to it? And do you have any other tips on dealing with a needle phobia? I still have a needle phobia, which is not fun. I have been terrified of needles for as long as I can remember. I am 18 now and I still need people to literally pin me down to a bed to get a blood test. Needles have just been one of those irrational fears that I've had for most of my life. Again, as long as I can remember. For me, with taking multiple daily injections, which is what I'm on, I'm getting a pump soon, hopefully. I've been in the process of getting a pump for years now. It's not as simple as just like going down to the shop and getting one. So for the time being, I'm still going to be on injections. But the way I kind of got over my irrational fear when it came to my insulin injections is I use pens. This is my insulin pen. And I don't know if you can see, but the needle is so itty bitty tiny. I just think of it as a pen. It's the only way I can get through it. I think of it as like a ballpoint pen and I just stab it into my arm and try to forget about it. It is very small though. Mine are 4 millimeters, so they're tiny and I try to remember that. But it still haunts me and I still struggle with it a lot because obviously I have a phobia of needles. It's not easy. But unfortunately without needles, I die. Next question. What do you use to raise your blood sugar when you have hypoglycemia? For anyone who doesn't know what hypoglycemia is, it's low blood sugar. For me, I usually use juice boxes. My favorite are the raspberry and apple ones, but I also use jelly beans a lot. Here's my open pack that I opened last night when I was having a hypo. I only eat the red ones. For some reason, I tend to only buy the red packets because I don't like a lot of the other colors. But these are really easy because they are just like pure glucose. And if I'm going out at night or to a concert or anything where they usually don't allow like outside liquids in, like drink bottles or juice boxes or whatever, I tend to bring lollies like jelly beans because they're just easier to get in. And they're easier to consume. Like you just pop some in your mouth and you're done. But those are the two treatments that I use most commonly. Juice boxes and jelly beans. Next question. How have you learned to embrace your type 1 diabetes and know that it makes you unique? I was kind of thrown into the deep end with this. When I was diagnosed, the doctors and the educators around me were like, you don't need to tell anyone if you don't want them to know. Like, it's up to you who you tell about your illness and about your condition. Like, it's fully on you. I don't blame my mum for this, but my mum posted about it on Facebook. And I didn't know that she had posted about it. It just was posted. And I was having people who I hadn't spoken to in several years contact me being like, oh my gosh, I heard that you've got diabetes. Like, I'm so sorry. I hope you get well soon. And for me, I kind of got that choice of telling who I wanted taken away from me because it was posted. And instead of holding that against my mum and like hating her for doing that, I kind of saw it as an opportunity to just be open and honest about it and teach others about it. When I was diagnosed in the hospital, I remember sitting there for hours at night, scrolling through YouTube, through TikTok, through Instagram, anything I could find to try find others like me who were dealing with diabetes. And I found a lot of older people who were talking about it, but no one who was really a teenager discussing it, and I felt really, really alone. I had already been doing social media kind of before I was diagnosed. So I just took it as an opportunity to be the person that I wanted to see. So I just kind of decided, instead of trying to hide it and deal with it alone, to be open about it. And I'm so grateful for it because I've been able to connect with so many people who understand me and who get what I'm going through, which I don't think I ever would have found if I had kept it inside and not embraced it. Someone asked, how do you know if it's getting low? I'm assuming this is talking about blood sugar. For me, I wear a Dexcom, which is this little device that I wear on my arm that reads my blood sugar for me automatically. But if I'm not wearing that, I can often tell that I'm low because I get shaky. My hands start to shake like this. I start feeling dizzy. I start feeling extremely weak. A lot of the time I'll get like a really bad like hot flush. It shows up in different people in different ways. For me, it's the shaky hands, the weakness, the hot flushes. I know some people get just really tired. Other people don't notice it at all. But that's how I know that I'm low. Have you ever been bullied about having diabetes? Unfortunately, yes. I wish I hadn't. I wish it was never like this, but I actually lost one of my best friends because she decided to bully me about my diabetes, which is great. No, but seriously, anyone who makes fun of you or who bullies you for something that you can't change and that you can't control is not worth having in your life, and I learned that in a difficult way. People never really said it to my face. It was more behind my back, which hurt more because it didn't give me the opportunity to turn around and like educate them in a way. Also, with being someone who is on the internet and who receives hate comments on the daily, I do get a lot of hate/bullying from people who don't know me. And for me, that's the whole thing. They don't know me, they don't know my illness, they don't understand what I go through on a daily basis. Their opinions of me are not my concern. They should not matter to me. The only opinions and words that should matter are the ones that are uplifting me, who are being positive towards me, and who are supporting me. And that's just something that I've had to learn to deal with. Okay, final question for this video is, who supported you the most when you found out that you were diabetic? By far, my mum. She has been my #1 supporter. She often feels very, very guilty because she didn't know what I was dealing with at the start. She didn't know what the early signs of diabetes were, so when I was diagnosed, it was kind of a shock to her, a shock to me, a shock to the whole family. But she has been there with me through everything. She has supported me when I was going back to school. She fought for me to have access to the essential supplies that I needed in the classroom and in the first aid room. She was having meetings with teachers to ensure that I had access and the support that I needed to be able to go back to school. It wasn't always easy. She supports me at home. I remember the first couple months when I was diagnosed, she was coming into my room at 2 a.m. every morning to make sure that my blood sugar was on track. And even now, if my blood sugar goes low during the night and I don't wake up to my alarm for whatever reason, she will be up here by my side helping me get through it. She supported me when I decided that I wanted to start posting about it online. She's basically just been with me every single step of this journey, and I couldn't be more grateful because I know not everyone has that kind of support. So I'm very, very grateful to my mum. Alright, that's the end of this little Q&A video. I might do another one later down the track if you guys are interested in it. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this. Hopefully you learned something about type 1 diabetes that you didn't know before. If you have any other video suggestions or things you want to see on the channel, please let me know down below. I love and appreciate you guys so, so much, and I'll see you all next time. Bye!